Well, g'day D-Live and welcome back to the Gives a Minute D-Live stream for a Wednesday afternoon affair. It has just gone 3 minutes past 3 in the PM for me. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening to you, whatever the time it is, wherever you're consuming this content. You're always welcome right here on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. It's your stream, it's your rules. My stream, my rules. Looking into the chit chat, I see Rob Mack, I see Giggle Pickles, I see KTM73, and I see Davo. I see 4Crew, and therefore a freaking cheers because everyone gets a cheers when they join the Gives a Minute D-Live stream chit chat. One clunk of the glass equals the cheers. I don't know if you can hear, but someone's mowing their lawn next door. They've chosen this time to do that, and I can hear it. I hope it's not annoying you. It's annoying me. It won't be forever. Today, cryptocurrency is the content. So if you're considering crypto, if you're curious about crypto, or if you're confused by crypto, this stream may or may not help you. I always preface this by saying it may or may not help you because sometimes we just go deep into something, and if you don't know even the basis or the basics, then it ain't going to help you. Today's kind of one of those days, actually. There's a few things up our sleeves. Someone hit me up with Acuity Social. Acuity, am I saying that right? Acuity? A-C-U-I-T-Y. Acuity Social. I don't know what it is. I had a quick look before this stream, and it looks like whatever it is, it's long in the tooth. It's taken a long time to get going. Is that annoying you? Can you hear the llama? Like, it's annoying me. I'm going to try to not think about it, but if it annoys you, just say, dude, that's annoying, and I'll shut the door. In fact, I could just shut the door now. It's a little warm back here, and there's a bit of a breeze coming through, but if I shut that, I can turn my AC up. How bad is it? Is it just me that it's annoying to? It's probably just me. And it's going the other way. He's going to mow the whole lawn anyway, so he's going to eventually get further away. And then he'll do the edges with the whippersnipper. Or the weed eater, if you're American, we call it a whippersnipper. Acuity Social, I did a little searching. I found their YouTube channel. I don't see a great deal of content recently from them. I see that they've been, whatever they're doing, they've been doing it a long time. So we're going to take a... I can't deal with that. Can't deal with it. I'll turn my AC up. Can't deal with that amount of noise right at my door when I'm trying to do a stream. And now I've completely lost my train of thought. What was it? Ah, it's right here in front of me. Acuity Social, these guys here. So it looks like, I mean, we could probably knock this on its head immediately and then get into the other content. The other content is going to be a little article here from Cointelegraph about DeFi Ponzi farms. I guess it's I guess someone put this in my Discord because you know me talking a little about Hex, and then often Hex gets considered a Ponzi. Well, this is probably why that. I don't know who linked this up. Come forward if it was you, and then we can take a little look about some Richard Hart stuff. Found this website pulselife.info, and it looks like a website for all of Richard Hart sort of projects, all based around the Richard Hart ecosystem. A lot of these projects I've never heard of. Cardix, Rett Syndrome, Liquid Loans. I've heard of Liquid Loans. Hocus Pocus. These are all, I guess they're all going to be built around Pulse Chain whenever that comes. So we got that to look at. And I know you can't see this because of my hideous head, but if I get rid of it, there's a little section up here about hot news and the Richard Hart ecosystem, how to get your project listed there. We'll take a look at that. Then I also want to have a little look at this video about Zen Crypto. Zen Crypto, to be completely honest, sort of, I don't know where I stand on this thing because it seems pretty confusing. It's on so many different chains, and there is a hell of a lot of game theory to it. See, I haven't claimed any of my Zen tokens yet, but I have claimed, but I haven't minted. You're not allowed to mint for the first whatever the time period is that you state. So I claimed my Zen on all three chains. I claimed it on the Ethereum main chain, I guess, the proof of stake chain, which it is now. Then I also claimed it on the Ethereum proof of work chain, and I claimed it on the Ethereum fair chain. It's on 100 other chains as well. You might want to go and claim yours there as well. I'm just not interested in Binance Smart Chain. There's a whole bunch of other ones in there as well. I'm going to stick with those ones. But the way it works is you obtain more Zen tokens by claiming longer. So you claim it and you say, I'll claim for 375 days or whatever it is. And then after those days disappear, you can mint it and then it's yours. Now, the sucky thing, or the game theory thing, is when you do make that claim, it shows you how much Zen you will be able to mint. But as each day ticks on, that amount disappears. So it's like, so right now, or when I first when I first claimed my mint, it sounds so confusing because I don't have any of it yet, but when I first made my claim, it said I was going to be getting, I think it was a 235 million Zen tokens, and I was like, sweet, what's that worth? And at that current price, it was worth quite a fair amount. As the days have gone on, I think I'm down about 45 days now into the 365 it was almost a full year. The value of that's dropped, and the amount that my claim has also dropped. So I want to look at that video just because I think maybe this is a better way to explain it. I think we've seen this channel before, 333 Crypto. We'll see what he's got to explain. And then if time permits, because I'm only going to do a 2-hour stream today, I'm going to keep this crypto stream to 2 hours. A lot else is going on right now. World Cup streams, no sleep because of the World Cup. Also editing together content from my camping mission with Marty. IRL stream coming up on Friday. Karen's Diner, if you want to see that, it's going to be pretty funny. So I'm just kind of trying to condense this down to just a 2-hour stream, but there is some other content if you have been paying attention in the cryptocurrency world. The Sam Bankman-Fried saga continues, and this is CoffeeZilla with his latest upload today, I think it was, a day ago, about the saga, and I'm just going to say, like, he can certainly wrap that up better than I can. Although I will say this, we probably wrap the YouTube stream up before we get into that content, because I feel like, I don't know, I don't know the gentleman, CoffeeZilla, I don't know him at all. I feel like he might tag my stream for copyright. I don't know, I don't think he would. Maybe we should just test it. Maybe we should just test it and see. Do I want to test that having already got one strike on YouTube? Probably not. So that's what I've got planned. But if you've got other things that you want to sling my way about cryptocurrency, any questions, any concerns, any considerations, the 3 C's, CCC, if you're considering crypto, if you're curious about crypto, or if you're confused by crypto, like I say, these Wednesday cryptocurrency streams may or may not help you. I don't know if this one will help you so much, but if you do have a question, I'll try to answer it if you swing my way in the chat. To do that, though, you're going to have to be on dlive.tv/givesaminutes. Bam, 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 bam. You see it there? Bam, ba-ding, bong, bang, bong, bling. It's all black there. You can't miss it. The URL says dlive, D for decentralized. D.live, no, bad, my bad, dlive.tv. The TV stands for television. What? Decentralized live television? It's so far from that. It's nothing to do with that. But anyway, that's the URL, dlive.tv/givesaminutes. Come on down to the channel. Pabs is in the house. I see Pabsies. Dougski, hey, Gives and Givers for the second time today. See, we've already been streaming today. We started our stream today at 4:30 a.m. It's now 3 p.m. 12 hours ago, I started my stream. We watched Australia get a little bit of a bollocking from France in the World Cup. I'm just going to say it. I predicted that to happen. I predicted it to be a pretty lousy game, which it was. Well, sorry. The game was good. France looked great. Mbappe looks great to watch. It's going to be an interesting campaign for those yahoos in this World Cup tournament. Look at all these words I know from watching the World Cup. I'm on the bandwagon. I watch it once every 4 years. But that game was fun, even though we bowed out pretty quickly. It was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how France do. I'm also looking forward to seeing how Australia does, but realistically speaking, they're not going to last very long. My take only, your take may differ. But good to see Doug. Doug was there early in the stream this morning as well. He got in early at work and joined me on the stream. That's a separate stream. Cryptocurrency is today. Cryptocurrency is now. Like I said, if you've got questions for me, I'll try to answer them. But a massive, massive, massive preface here. Do I look like a financial advisor? Hell no. I'm just a guy on the internet. Needs a haircut. Got a new shirt. That's all I am. So if you think you're getting financial advice from me, you're sorely mistaken, because I'm not doing that. I'm just giving you entertainment. A little bit of entertainment is never hurting anybody. You make this what you will. You do with it what you will. It's not financial advice. It's just a little bit of fun and games, a little bit of dissecting. And I'm tired from getting up at 4:30, so I'm probably going to spill forth a lot of crap on this stream. But I am going to go and get a coffee. I'm going to definitely fire up a hot coffee. That's going to help me along the ways here. I think old mate's finished with the lawnmower, and we should be good. You know what? Should we just knock off Acuity Social first? Should we just knock this on its head first? Let's have a look at this. Pabskis! Prayers and concerns for H-Man. Sure hope he gets patched up in hospital. So just a side swivel here. I did speak to Hendrik, or I DM'd him earlier today. He is fine. He said he's no stitches. So Hendrik had a fall on my stream. He fell in the bathroom, I think. Why do I think it was tiles? I think he hit tiles of some sort. Maybe it's because he's got tiles on his stream. You see a lot of tiles. I don't know, but he is okay. He has no stitches, and the X-rays to the skull it showed there's nothing in there. That's the wrong words. There's stuff in his skull, all the important stuff, but there's no damage. All the brains and all the ligaments and all that stuff is still good, but there's no damage. But he did have a fall. So yeah, and he's okay. I think he said he's out of hospital. Good news. Thanks, man. Yeah, I checked up on him before. Do you know what? I'm going to get a coffee before I was going to say we could dig into Acuity. For those that are here, who alerted me to this? Because it's a social media. We're going to learn about it, but it's a social media on the blockchain, which is what I always thought DLive should be. It's not, won't ever be, could have been, won't, will not. This Acuity could have been, but it looks like it's something that's not coming either way. Anyway, folks, I'm going to go grab a coffee and I'll come back and we'll go from there. While I do get a coffee, I'm going to leave you with some absolutely fantastic photographs. These photographs coming from the viewers on this channel. We call them givers. If you're a viewer of this content, you're a giver. Some of the givers click the shutter a few times. Suki Smackhouse, one of them. She's got a great skill of photography. She's a wildlife photographer. She's got some great photos. This is a slideshow of images that are coming in on random, pulled in from every photograph that anyone sent me. If you want to get your photograph in this little selection, there's a link in my Discord. Well, there's a channel. There's a server in my Discord. There's also a link to it down below in my About section right here on DLive. Once more, if you're not on DLive, that's the URL. Come on. Get there. Come on over here. We need your help. Of course we do. If we're gonna fight those guys, we're gonna have to get more volume on other streams. Cryptocurrency used to be a big thing on DLive. It's no longer a big thing. It's now gambling. If you're into gambling, you might love it. You might come over here to hang out with me on cryptocurrency streams and go, screw you, I'm going to go and gamble, because that's all the things at the moment on this site. It's gambling. It's a gambler's haven. We're going to try to slide in underneath those gamblers and do a little bit of other content, cryptocurrency, music, sports, IRL. Like I said, Friday IRL stream up in Sydney at Karen's Diner. If you're going to have a bit of a laugh at my expense, come downtown. I'm waffling like crap. I'm going to get that coffee. I'm going to waffle some more. I'll see you in a moment. All right. Got the little car. I forgot my headset. Got the coffee there. It's probably going to be a little hot for a little while. I might just hold off on it. Isn't that a nice Coronet Peak coffee mug there? I was drinking out of that when I was there for the season. Let's move in and take a look at Acuity. What is Acuity Social? The URL, Acuity Social. I'll pop that URL in the chat, so if you want to click it as well, you can have a little look-skis. I'll pop that there for you freaking lovely yahoos. So let's read about what this is. Oh, that's the wrong clickety-click, clackety-clack. I hope that's... Oh, okay, that's going to change it, but that's all right. It says here, Acuity is a blockchain-based content platform and an alternative to the World Wide Web? What? It's been in development since 2015. This is what I'm saying. Like, holy crap, dudes. This has been worked on since 2015 and it's not done yet? I mean, it might be a bit slow. It's built with Polkadot and IPFS. It is currently being migrated from its previous incarnation, Mix, an independent Ethereum blockchain. So it's moving chains. It's moving from MIX to Polkadot and IPFS. Videos of the Acuity browser can be seen on the Acuity YouTube channel. And I think I clicked that. Yeah, there it is. I did. I brought it up. And what I was going to suggest is when I looked at this website or this YouTube channel, they've got a video here that's gone up a month ago. It's got 92 views. It's their decentralized trading platform, I guess. We'll take a look at that. But wow, man, like no one's really interested in it, you know? And their last video 4 months earlier, it's only got 260 views. And if you go back like a year ago, like how to become a validator on the blockchain from the Acuity, a year, and it's only got 300 views. It looks like nobody's into this, eh? Like I'm happy to be giving it a bit of a run here now to see if we can't sort of, you know, make something. Hey, Rob Mac with a 14-month sub streak. What? 14 months, dude. That's as long as Acuity's been in production. Thanks, Rob Mac. I'm going to slap my chest. Each slap is worth a month. So I'm going to slap it right here. And you got to listen because each slap is going to be worth a month. There'll be 14 slaps out of my chest, dude. Thank you very much for the 14-month sub streak. Oh, there's one more. There you go. Almost forgot the 14th. Hey, Gibbs and Givers, good morning, good afternoon, Rob. How you doing, man? Are you as tired as I am from getting up at 4:30 to watch Australia copper shinning? That's too hot, dude. Put that back. Thank you, man. Thanks, Rob. So yeah, I mean, just looking at these videos, 4 years ago, this video's only had 213 views. So I would suggest that this is dead in the water. Let's give it a little bit of airtime, though. It says here, on June 8th, 2020, it was announced that Acuity would be migrating from Mix to a substrate-based blockchain in the Polkadot ecosystem. You got up at 6. Oh, you didn't. Yeah, okay, because you weren't. Yeah, I got up at 4:30 to set my stream and everything. On 1st September, the Acuity regenesis occurred and a snapshot of all Mix balances was recorded. So this is like a forking. A few days later, the new blockchain was launched. The Mix cryptocurrency no longer exists. Holders of Mix at the time of the snapshot can claim ACU in a one-to-one basis. The process is identical to how participants in the Polkadot sale can claim their DOT and KSM blah bling blah blang. Why did this occur? Social media has, to a large degree, should need a comma there, right? To a large degree, taken over from publishing content on websites. There are a lot of good reasons for this. Having everyone together instead of on a separate website enabled rich interactions and social networks to emerge. In many ways, this has been an incredible tool for humanity, but it hasn't quite realized its potential. Major platforms have many issues that they are not intending to resolve properly. There is no point blaming these platforms. The real issue is that we need social media to be decentralized so we can reclaim the web. Now, I'd agree with that. No back end. Because Acuity is entirely decentralized and there is no back end, there is no service being provided. It's peer-to-peer open source software with no warranty. Many other platforms that claim to be decentralized, such as DLive at one point, actually have quite extensive backends and identity verification. Yes, they do. Because Acuity is built with Substrate, it can have a very rich and extensible feature set with a very small fee. This means it cannot be the target for co-option. Co-option? What's co-option? Co-option. Okay. Permissionless innovation. The idea, or the basic idea of how Acuity works, is that all the core functionality is implemented on-chain. Now, on the mixed chain, this was in the form of a smart contract written within Solidity. Now this functionality is being re-implemented as a substrate palette that can be extended permissionlessly with WASM smart contracts. This includes content revisioning, comments, feeds, tags, mentions, trusted accounts, emoji, reactions, and tokens. There is no backend or whatsoever. When running your own website, you have total freedom to innovate in whatever way you like. This is something that has been lost now that content is published more often on centralized social media platforms. Developers are incredibly frustrated because they're unable to deploy new ideas. So with Acuity, any developer can innovate in any way they like, either on-chain or off-chain. Now, at that point, you've got to add that that opens up all kinds of concerns as well as solutions. So, not suggesting I have the answer, but if it's completely decentralized and no one controls it, anyone can do whatever they want. There are certain things that might not go down so well, you know, some illegal activities, let's just say. It's kind of why DLive protocol failed, I suppose. The protocol, right, which was completely decentralized peer-to-peer live streaming on the blockchain. DLive tried to launch this and it's failed miserably. Same kind of thing here. And if you look at the ideas of it, it's kind of a hard one to explain because the wording that they've got here sounds wonderful. And this is a good solution. This is what we need. But in actual practicality, do we really want that? I don't know, dudes. I don't know. No, like I said, I don't have the answers, but I'm just saying. Yeah, look at this next point. Censorship proof. Unlike other so-called decentralized social media platforms, Acuity really is peer-to-peer. When publishing content is first made available from the device via IPFS, once the blockchain transaction containing the IPFS hash has been finalized, nodes that trust the publisher will pin the content so that it propagates around the system. While there is no guarantee that your content will be consumed by anyone, you can always publish. So again, that in theory sounds fantastic, right? Like your stream, your rules, similar thing, right? DLive, your stream, your rules. That sounds wonderful in theory. Does that mean I could sit here completely naked with a massive heart on and stream whatever I want to whoever I want? Do you really want that? I don't know. I don't know if you want that. I don't think I want that. What about these guys that live streamed the terrorist attacks and shit? This is where they'll do it, right? You got the guy from New Zealand that live streamed on Facebook before they kind of snapped down on that. Was it Facebook or YouTube? He streamed himself blowing up all the mosques and shit. Do you really want that? Because this is where you'll get it. I'm very skeptical, Pablo. I mean, like I said, it all sounds absolutely wonderful. As you talk about it, it's like, oh, wait a second. Okay, there might need to be some accounting here. Like someone's going to have to step in at some point, right? 7 years in development and still not live. That's, yeah, case in point. I mean, yeah, look at the views on these videos. Like nobody, go to their most popular video, 2.3K views, and that's the migration video. How to migrate Solidity, how to migrate from Mix to Polkadot. That's probably because people had their funds caught up in it. They were like, well, I got to look at this to get my shit off there, eh? I don't know, folks. I don't know. No such thing as absolute freedom. That's anarchy. Fair point. Permanent content. So much content is being lost both on the web and on centralized social media platforms. This is because there is not an autonomous structure and there is no collaborative hosting. With Acuity, anyone can host anyone else's content to ensure that it stays alive. Links will never break. Having an undeniable record of what was published in the past is key to exposing corruption and achieving justice for all. Now that's a good point, and you can't deny that. If it's locked on the blockchain, you can always come back to it and check up who did what, when, where, and how. So if someone does do something stupidly sketchy, you can say, well, here's the blockchain hash of that. The thing is, it's not linked to anybody. So you got autonomy. You got autonomy. That's the word I made up. You're autonomous, yet the hash exists. What good's the hash if it's not tied to anybody? So the dude who blew up the mosques and live streamed it, if that was done on here, you could say, well, he let himself out because he told everybody who he was. But I'm just saying, if you were trying to keep it like masked, like the anonymous dudes masked up, and they stream something crazy like that, the blockchain will have it there permanently, but that blockchain isn't tied to them unless you know that wallet address. So I don't know the answers here, folks, and I'm hoping that someone else does, because it's all over my head. Like I said, if you're confused by crypto or concerned about crypto or considering crypto, this stream may or may not help you. Custom content delivery. Whoops, custom content discovery. Everyone has complete control over what content they receive. Every developer is a first-class citizen and can innovate to create new means of searching and filtering content, both on and off-chain. For example, they could create a filter bubble based on electing moderators on an off-chain search solution that uses artificial intelligence. Pabs, any platform that allows this will cease to exist by the powers that be. It can't be. That's the thing, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like this cannot be shut down. It's decentralized. There's no one that owns it. Once the code is written and it's run, it's there. It's like trying to bring air back in and saying, I'm having that bit of air and I'm going to stash this bit of air over there and it's going to stay. No, it's already out, dude. Public content, everything that is published on is publicly readable by anyone. There isn't much point using a public blockchain to publish private or semi-private content, so there's no rating system at that point. So anyone can view whatever content, like X material. And when I'm talking X, I'm not talking about X-rated streams on DLive. I'm talking about X-rated porno. This means anyone can get it anywhere, anytime, any age. Do you really want that? Don't know if you do. Private browsing history, who you follow, local settings, they're all only stored on your own devices. There is no centralized backend, so it is very hard for your browsing to be tracked unless you ask it to be. Interesting. Blocking is always possible. Gives, not really difficult. Blocking is always possible. Blocking. Now this one here, funding content creators ungameable metrics. Counts of followers, views, and likes are all terrible ways to measure popularity. Acuity has a much better system. Conspicuous burning of brand tokens. Because this is ungameable, it serves as a great free market mechanism to fund content creators without relying on paywalls or advertising. That's the nutshell of Acuity. Let's have a look at the features. We've already read all this. Okay, so where is it? I mean, it's been being built since 2015. Is there a test net? They got parachains here. Is there a test net? By the way, I'm too cold now. I'm too cold with my AC on. That door's open because the old mate's finished his vacuuming or his lawn mowing. I'm gonna just turn this down a little bit. It's blinding my eyes. The owner and the dev team will be in prison, end of story. Yeah, but that doesn't stop it. That's what I'm saying. You can put the developers in prison. It's the chain. Once it's out and running, there is no stopping it. It's not. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go to stop it? Once it's running, there's no way to stop it. At that point, once it's done, you can attack the messenger, and you can. And there's an argument that they're trying to push through right now. you know, code is law, and can you be imprisoned for writing unlawful code? Pablo, okay, I am right, but I'll let you learn. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. I was just wondering if there's a roadmap. So in the 26th of November 2015, work started on Blob Store. Ethereum mainnet had just been launched over the summer. Bling, blong, blang, blong. We don't need to read all this because it's all changed since then. Link blockchain announced in this 2016. 2017 that went live. They went to IPFS for storage in 2017. Kuala Lumpur Link presentation. They did a presentation. Link is renamed to Mix, and you can start trading it. That's in 2017. 2018, Anacupoloco gold sponsor. Okay. Mix party in San Fran in 2018. Mix hard fork at block 3 mil 2018. Chai Mai presentation 2019. Mix Acuity browser has been released in 2019. Let's see it. Oh, you can't use it anymore. The web app came out in 2019. 2020, you could publish videos. The desktop app could transcode the video to multiple resolutions, and video could be streamed from IPFS in both the web app and desktop app. And then they migrated to substrates on the 2020 in June, and then they regenerated a substrate here. Snapshot occurred 3rd of September 2020. The blockchain was activated, and then the DEX was created. This is their swap exchange. Then there was an airdrop and a relaunching of the social network functionality. Okay, so so where are the dates now? There's somehow this all happened on the 3rd of September. That was a busy day. Creator token relaunched. Desktop app launched. The app was available both as a web app and desktop app for Windows, Mac, and Linux on the M1 chip as well. Okay. Then they released their creator tokens. What's it called? Creator tokens are a means for content creators to get paid without paywalls or advertising. Fans can conspicuously burn tokens issued by creators to prove they are real supporters. The Acuity project will also have a creator token called Acuity Fund. Okay. Decentralized search. So that's indexing the content. And in October 2022, revenue contract ends. So this happened already this year. The revenue smart contract will stop releasing the Acuity token. Okay, so it's only a limited amount. Access the blockchain. Let's have a look. I wonder if there's any users here. So there's hashes right now. No recent events. 1 hour ago. I've never seen this block explorer. This is the Polkadot block explorer. I've never seen this before, folks. I guess it's kind of the same as the other ones though. Recent blocks. So there's hashes happening right now. So people are using it. Not many though. Do we have a number of users here? Accounts. Address books. Okay, so this is local. Network Explorer. That's where we just were. Staking. Okay. So there's staking going on right now. These are the validators on the chain. These are the same. Any in waiting? Any in this next session? 5 blocks produced. So it's pretty. It's working, but it's pretty slow. Possible. This is a trap. Intentional design to round up shady folks. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh yeah, well, you're thinking outside the square there, Pabs. I appreciate that. I don't think it is though. They got a wiki entry. What is this? This is their wiki entry. Oh, this is Polkadot wiki. We don't need that. Okay, so I'm not seeing too much here. 8 validators. Let's go back to the Explorer. So you see some hashes being hashed out right there. Can we click on them and explore what they are? How can we see what they're actually performing? It's your legal mind at work. I like that. I like that you're thinking hardcore. So this was extrinsics. I don't know what I'm seeing here, folks, to be completely honest. Pay fees, mandatory weight in a class. Okay. If it looks too good to be true, it likely is. Well, not always. Balance. So there's some, okay, so there's, you probably can't see this because it's underneath my hideous head. I can get rid of my hideous head though. Let me do that. Over here, we've got, I just clicked on the validator handle here. So I just noticed the amounts of ACU, which is the, I think it was Acuity token down here somewhere. We saw it before. Either way, the numbers here, 171,000 transferable, 986 locked, staking, some reserve there. I just wonder who these people are and what are they doing with these balances? Like what are the processes that they're working, what they're hashing out right now? Like I can't really navigate this successfully enough to be able to tell you what they're actually doing, what functions they're performing. But I mean, the blockchain is up and running. Whether people are using it, only 8 people are there right now. They got a blog here. Oh, this is the blog. Okay. Acuity DEX now beta testing on mainnets. This is from 18th of November. This is only a few days ago. The recent collapse of the FTX reinforces in the heaviest way possible the importance of the work we are doing building the Acuity Atomic Swap, peer-to-peer, cross-chain, fully autonomous, non-custodial, decentralized exchange. That's a mouthful. If you're confused by crypto, you might even be a little more confused at that mouthful. While the loss of billions of dollars of customers' funds strongly reinforces in the minds of the masses the concept of not your keys, not your crypto, an arguably even greater concept remains unknown to the overwhelming majority. This is decentralized, they're going to say now. As we have seen over and over again, centralized exchanges have the technical ability to print crypto out of thin air, either by using their customers' deposits instead of storing them, or by simply changing an entry in their own database. This, of course, doesn't... Changing an entry in their own database? How can you change the chain? You can't just go in and edit the blockchain. Is that what they do? Is that what they do? I didn't know they did that. How can you change an entry in a blockchain? Once it's... What? You have to have like the 51% confirmation for that, right? They're not doing that, are they? Are they? Who's doing this? Hey, by the way, why's my mail client open? I'm getting emails here while I stream. I don't like that. I'm going to close my mail client. Get out of there, mail client, you silly little mail client. Yeah, I didn't know they were doing that. This, of course, does not create more on-chain crypto. For example, at the time of writing, Bitcoin had a supply of 19.21 mil. This does not include all the Bitcoin that doesn't really exist, but people think they own on exchanges. Okay. It's been estimated that at its peak, there was 100 million paper Bitcoin on exchanges, but it's really impossible to know exactly how much. This 6-fold increase in real supply has a massive downward pressure on the trading price of Bitcoin. This is understood by almost no one and is not publicized at all. Okay, well, we're giving a little light to it. This is analogous to the various classifications of central bank and commercial bank money supply, with the money multiplier being a ratio between them. How long is this blog post? Not too long. I guess it's quite important. Where was I? We could consider cryptocurrency on the blockchain to be MO and cryptocurrency balances in custodial stores to be M1. Current supply is really M1 plus MO, and market cap is MO plus M1 multiplied by the price. Of course, with the banks, there are mechanisms to control the money multiplier. These are non-existent in the world of crypto. This is why the banking establishment is not very worried about crypto. Okay. When crypto is deposited into a custodial wallet or an exchange, an IOU is issued. This is promoted by the institution as being equivalent to the on-chain cryptocurrency. This claim is fraudulent, but it is accepted as true by all. Price aggregators then incorrectly use the trading data of these IOUs to determine the value of the on-chain crypto. To stay true to the concept of Bitcoin's claimed limited supply of 21 mil, cryptocurrencies must prevent such IOUs being considered in the minds of the people to be equivalent to real crypto. One way crypto projects could protect themselves from this debasement of custodial services is for leaders from within the project to publicly call out as fraudulent anyone attempting to issue an IOU for their coin. To my knowledge, no project has yet attempted this strategy. ACU currently has an MO of 83.7 mil and an M1 of 0, so nothing hidden. Ensuring that the ACU M1 stays at 0 is the foundation that Acuity is built on. I mean, it all sounds wonderful, right? It all looks wonderful. Pabs, the point of one of several I tried to make with you in our previous discussions, more detailed explanation than I gave. Did you write this blog post, did you? Is that what you're saying? Are you up there in Acuity? Is that why this has been posted in my Discord so we can look at it? Let's have a little look at one of their videos, eh? Let's go and have a sneaky peek at their YouTube. Recently uploaded. We'll take a look at their trading decks. This is how you can trade the old Mix token, but it's now called...
This is a demo of the ERC20 trading functionality in the upcoming Acuity peer-to-peer atomic swap exchange.
Okay.
So what we're looking at here is the trading web app that will be deployed once the exchange is live. And we can see...
Now, instantly I'm going to say something that's going to contradict everything we've just read. If this is truly decentralized and there's no one behind it, who's this guy? Who's this gentleman presenting? I would have thought that this would better off be served as a robot, not an individual person. Because instantly you're going to link Acuity to this guy, right? You're going to say, well, this is the guy behind it. You've already, before it's even begun, it's failed at its own goal of being completely decentralized and autonomous. Who's this Yahoo? That's why I was very careful to say I'm not involved in any of this. I'm just trying to learn about it. But this guy hasn't come out saying that. He's on their Acuity YouTube page. So someone, not saying it's him, but someone, possibly him, like him, is behind it. Right?
It's currently connected to various testnets. So I'm showing you the new functionality for trading ERC20 tokens peer-to-peer across chains. So on this page, we can see that the current user, who according to Metamask is Alice, on the Avalanche testnet has 17 link. And if we switch to Bob, we can see he has 3. If we switch to the Gurley testnet, Bob has a small amount of Uniswap, and Alice has none. Pabs, there is always humans behind it until real AI happens, and then we're all screwed. Right, okay. So let's make a sell order and show you how the ERC20 trading functions. Okay, so we are currently Alice.
Hey, Sergeant Bob. How you doing, man?
And we want to...
So just to be frank here, this demo that he's showing, he's not showing us anything riveting, right? This already exists. And now I'm hot again.
Switch to Avalanche testnet.
So he's just showing cross-chain trading.
So we can see she has 17 link, and she wants to sell her link for Uni on the Gurley chain. So she currently has 0. And so we need to create this sell order. So maybe she wants to sell 10 and the price should be 0.01. And we click set. So this publishes the order on the Acuity blockchain. And Acuity, that was very quick that time. Acuity is a substrate blockchain, so that's why we use the Polkadot browser plugin.
You know, he did that and it was super quick. That was a real quick transaction, but is that because there's no one using that chain?
And if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that at this step, there was actually a stashing stage where you had to stash your funds before you could sell them. So this was for easier sell order discovery. But the exchange has gone through a redesign, so that is no longer necessary. And you only have very lightweight transactions on the selling and buying chains. So we're now going to take the role of a buyer. So that's Bob.
Bob the buyer.
And we'll just switch to Gurley. So we need to find that sell order. So selling link for Gurley Uniswap. So there is the sell order. So that's been retrieved from the Acuity blockchain. So we're going to go to that sell order. So the seller is Alice. We can see my previous trade up above.
It's interesting how they've got names there. Like, is that just how that chain works, or would that just be a hash usually?
We are Bob. We are on Gurley, so we can see.
I guess you can name your
so
wallets.
this is actually Bob's balance of link, so he wants to buy more. And then the buy asset is Uniswap on Gurley. So we have the price, we have the maximum amount for sale. So we're just going to buy one. So Bob will buy one link and pay with Uniswap. So the first step is that he needs to lock up his Uniswap. So we click buy. And the Metamask dialog box pops up. So we confirm that and we just wait for this transaction. So these funds are being locked up in the smart contract. Okay, so we now have a new line, a new trade for this sell order. So Bob has locked up 0.01 Uniswap, and it is now the turn of Alice. And of course, this this can be fully automated in future. So currently we're doing it all manually. So Alice now has, she's seen the buy lock from Bob. So Alice examines that. She knows it's all correct. So Alice will now create her sell lock. So let's just do that. And the Avalanche blockchain is generally pretty quick.
It's pretty quick. I mean, it all looks pretty nice.
Okay. So now both the buyer and the seller have locked up the correct funds. So we now swap back to being Bob. And Bob, so he knows the secret that both of these funds have been locked up with. So he can then unlock the sell lock. So then he will retrieve his one link. And in doing so, he has revealed the secret, and therefore the seller, if we swap back to Alice. So Alice can go on the Gurley blockchain and take what Bob locked up.
And voila.
So we'll just wait for this transaction to confirm, and then we can examine. It'll just take a second to update. So both locks have been unlocked, and then we can examine the token balances. So Alice now has her 0.01 Uniswap on Gurley. And Bob has bought one more link. So now he has 4. Okay, so thank you very much. So that shows you how you can trade.
So basically, so it's working, but again, looking at these YouTube videos, no one's really using it. Where is the channel here? Acuity Social. I'm just wondering why it hasn't, like, it's only got 92 views. Like, why hasn't this picked up? Like, what's the and if you search, I guess this is a bad thing too. If you search for it, Acuity, it comes up with this app that's for scheduling, like workplace scheduling. So there's my stream right there. So they've chosen a name that already exists for something else. It's not a good start, hey, like, because then all the searching is going to return something else. Like, that's like saying I'm going to invent a new soft drink. I'm going to call it, I don't know, Coca-Cola. No, choose your own name. Like, don't be the Joker. Choose your own name. Choose your own thing. You're going to confuse everybody. Let's move on, though, and take a look at this article that was put in my Discord. It's from Cointelegraph. This story reads, features DeFi abandons Ponzi farms for real yield. I guess it's a feature. It's only an 11-minute read here, but we'll take a read. That's a lovely graphic, though. Returns based on marketing dollars are fake. It's like the dot-com boom phase of paying customers to buy a product. It's like the dot-com boom phase of paying customers to buy a product. When did that happen? People were paid to buy something? I don't remember that. Don't be the Joker, perhaps the smartest thing you've ever said. Dude, let's take a quick pause here momentarily. I wish I could play this shit, but I don't want to dice on the caution. I want to dance on the side of caution because of DLive, but holy shit, dude. That Big Black Clock Entertainment channel, wow. If you're not following Big Black Clock Entertainment on Twitter, and you're interested in seeing what that man, the Joker, gets up to, you got to start following that Twitter handle. Wow, dude. Like, do you know? Don't even start me. 250 million? Don't even start me, right? Don't even start me. But far out, dude. It gets better and better with that guy. It's good for entertainment value. Let's read this, though. Decentralized finance is beginning to embrace a hot new phrase, real yield. It refers to DeFi products that survive purely on distributing the actual revenue they generate rather than incentivizing stakeholders by handing out dilutionary free tokens. You know about it? You've been watching it, Hendrik? Hendrik. What am I seeing? I'm seeing you. I'm seeing Hendrik for some reason. I got Hendrik on my mind. Pablo, you've been watching it? Okay, good. Where does this real yield come from? Are fees really a sustainable model for growth at this early stage? It depends on who you ask. The DeFi Ponzonomics problem is our natural starting point. Ponzi farming. DeFi started to arrive as a concept in 2018. At 2020 DeFi Summer saw market entrants degens piling headfirst into DeFi. Is that where the term came from? Degenerates? The term degenerate was around before these guys were labeled degens. They piled headfirst into DeFi to early mind-blowing returns of 1,000% a year for staking or using a protocol. Now, this should also, we should side swivel into, this concept is not bad. Staking for a yield. Let's not forget, DLive was based on this same concept in Lino, in the testnet. You stake, you earn a higher percentage. The more you stake, the more you earn. And that also carried on into the BTT side of things for a little while, in the sense that, well, if you're a staker, you earn X amount of APY, but if you're a partner, you earn a higher APY. And then this and that went on, but then they stopped paying staking rewards, and then they stopped paying staking entirely, and then they stole all our money since March 8. That happened as well. But so this concept isn't new, is what I'm illustrating there, and it was also the backbone of DLive. Many attributed the real explosion of interest in DeFi to when Compound launched the Comp token to reward users for providing liquidity. But these liquidity mining models were flawed because they were based on excessive emissions of protocols' native tokens rather than sharing organic protocol profits. So a different token. Liquidity mining resulted in unsustainable growth, and when yields diminished, token prices dropped. Depleting DAO treasuries, depleting DAO, that's got a great ring to it. So DAOs that were losing their funding, depleting DAO treasuries to supply rewards programs, or simply minting more and more tokens for new joiners looked like a Ponzi scheme. Minting more and more tokens, so an infinite supply, for the new joiners looked like a Ponzi scheme. I thought you said it was a Ponzi scheme. It either was or it wasn't. It can't just look like it. It either is or it isn't. Who wrote this article? Max Parasol. There's a monster in your parasol. You're either calling it or you aren't calling it. It looked like a Ponzi scheme. Known as yield farming to some, others called it Ponzonomics. What did you call it, Maxi Boy? Yield farming was behind the DeFi summer. It's a nice graphic. They do make good graphics here, don't they? While recognizing these returns were unsustainable, many sophisticated investors became enthralled with staking, which is locking up tokens for rewards. Again, this concept's nothing new. You can do this at every bank. You take the money that you own, you go in and say, I don't want to touch this money for 12 months. They say, okay, we'll take it. When we give it back to you, we'll give it back to you with a little bit of extra. This is staking. This is locking up. This is a term deposit. This is a time deposit. This is a, what do they call the CD, certificate of deposit. This is nothing new. This is new in crypto, but nothing new for the rest of the planet. One VC told me they paid for their lifestyle by staking tokens during 2020 to 2021, even knowing it was akin to a Ponzi scheme about to collapse. So just again, to counteract this story, if staking is a Ponzi scheme, then every bank that runs a certificate of deposit is also a Ponzi scheme. Fair? Same concept. The dangers of unsustainable yield were seen in the mid-2022 when the DeFi ecosystem and much of the rest of crypto was gutted in a handful of days. Earlier this year. Terra's DeFi ecosystem collapsed with grave contagion effects. Its founder, Do Kwon, is wanted by South Korean authorities and is subject to an Interpol red notice, but says he is not on the run. High-profile hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital, which heavily invested in Terra, was liquidated in June. The reality is that returns based on marketing dollars are fake. Returns based on marketing dollars are fake. Returns based on marketing dollars. So first we're hearing about marketing dollars. What are marketing dollars? Okay. I'll let that ride for the time being. It's like the dot-com boom phase of paying customers to buy a product, says Carl Jacob, co-founder of Homecoin.finance. What is this? I bet that's a lending platform. I bet Homecon.finance is a lending platform. A stable coin backed by Home. So there you go. You can... A stable coin backed by homes? Dude, this is strange. What you buy a home? What? There are 17 million. Home is a new cryptocurrency backed by the same mortgages used by governments, insurance companies, and high net worth individuals to preserve and grow their wealth. Home is available to anyone in the world with a DeFi wallet. Payments from the loan backed by homes flow back to the holders of home. Payments from the loans backed by home flow. So the home token, not to be confused with a home loan, it's backed by the mortgage companies used by governments, insurance companies, and high net individuals. So the wealthy. So they pay back their loans, and those payments flow back to holders of the home token. So you get a stable coin backed by homes, and this is the guy who's telling you that returns based on marketing dollars are fake. Okay, take that as you will. Henrik Anderson, Chief Investment Officer of Apollo Capital, notes the yield in Terra wasn't actually coming from token emissions. I wouldn't call Terra a Ponzi scheme, even though the yield wasn't sustainable. So again, so there's two references here to none of this being a Ponzi scheme, yet the whole article is basically saying it's a Ponzi scheme. Mate, take a stand on the article, Maxi boy. I'd say it's essentially marketing money. There's that term again. Real yield enters the chat. It's easy to be cynical then when the phrase real yield started to emerge to popular applause recently. Bankless analyst Bon Jovi, he's living on a prayer. He recently wrote, DeFi isn't dead. There are real organic yields out there. In a piece explaining that real yields are opportunities for risk-tolerant DeFi users to generate yield at above market rates through protocols such as GMX, Hop, Maple, and Goldfinch. With the bulk of their yield not coming from token emissions, it is also likely that these protocols will be able to sustain their higher returns for the foreseeable future. Real yield is a hashtag reaction to Terra Luna's collapse, but that means people agree more on what it is than what it actually isn't. On what it isn't than what it actually is. I read that backwards. Another person, this guy Mark Lurie, founder of Shipyard Software. So they've got all these big yahoos to come in and tell us what they think. I think this is bullshit. In fact, real yield can involve lending and borrowing models in which... So this looks like to me, without reading it all, because it's synthetics. Liquidity. This will be interesting to read. Impermanent loss. Another way fees might be earned for providing liquidity is to assist in cross-chain liquidity. Liquidity. So this is a good thing. Are they for or against this? I guess I didn't read the above, so I can't. I'm skipping through this because I think it's all a load of waffle. Liquidity providers risk facing exposure to the price volatility of the underlying asset they're providing liquidity for. Yeah, that's just the definition of. It's like saying people that swim in the water risk getting wet. Liquidity providers risk facing exposure to the price volatility of the underlying asset they're providing liquidity for. Oh no, is that right? Sometimes these articles are just, it's like, looks like it's been written just to fill space. Maybe it's just a way to spruik up their beautiful little charts and their funky little NFT style graphics. Caution, tree branches may fall. That's a sign that we have here in Australia in the bushes. When you get to a campsite, we just went camping for 7 days. Me and Marty, you literally get to a campsite and it says, caution, tree branches may fall. It's like, yeah, no shit. I thought they never came off. I thought they stayed there forever. Impermanent loss, which is what they just described, happens when the price of your deposited asset changes from when you deposited those assets. This means less dollar value at the time of withdrawal than when deposited. So your rewards or headline real yield from staking liquidity may be offset. This is, okay, is this just definition time here? And it's risky. Traditional investors that like real yield has emerged due to current investment cycles and market conditions. Chong points out, real yield more closely reflects TradFi, traditional finance, and has a lot to do with the cycle of market participants. During the DeFi summer, hedge funds acted as speculative vultures. Man, that's the language. Now, institutional investors like Goldman Sachs are looking for new directions in crypto on what will survive the bear market. Blah, bling, blong, blang. Interesting. Now, shall we move on? We shall. This website I thought was worth having a quick look at, pulselife.info. I'm going to pop it in the chisel chat. If you're interested at all in a high yield cryptocurrency, you might be interested in looking at Richard Hart's Hex. This website looks like it categorizes or catalogs all projects inside that ecosystem. And it's got a ranking system, I suppose. I mean, some of these tokens I've never heard of. Up token, Poor Pleb. Pulse Dogecoin, I actually own some. I own some Pulse Bitcoin. Actually, that's a good, I should be looking at my Pulse Bitcoin. My miner probably is ready to return or turn off and turn back on again. I guess these are links out to their sites. Welcome to a better Bitcoin launching. Okay, so this is dated. It already has launched. Yeah, you can mine. Okay, so that's just a hyperlink straight out. So that's pretty cool. And there's Hex, the top one. Pulse Unity, Pulsefinity, No Signal, Chaos First, Mintra, Icosa, Hedron, Wait, Pulse Chain. So the ones that I'm interested, or the ones that I've invested in, Icosa, Hedron. I'm waiting on Wait. Pulse Chain, obviously have a sacrifice in for that. I haven't got Pulse Shib, Pulse Pot, nope. Maximus, yes. Pulse X, waiting on. Meme Coin Mafia, nope. Pulse LN, nope. Liquid Loans, nope. Rett Syndrome Token, nope. Cardix, nope. Pulse Doge, nope. I got Pulse Dogecoin. Beetroot, nope. Pulse Little Pickles, nope. Pulse Speak, nope. Hocus Pocus, nope. Fiat, nope. IKEA Finance, nope. Pulse Dog Elon, nope. Cult Dow, nope. Pulse Larian, nope. Pulse Valley, nope. Sound X, nope. This looks like a competitor to Audius, right? I guess we should have a look at that. Is it a competitor to Audius? Did we look at this? SoundX? I think we did. No, I don't recognize it. Are we going to read it? Nah, probably not. Is it already launched? There's an airdrop. It's in testnet. We will airdrop SoundX when Pulse Chain launches. 10% of the total supply of the coin is earmarked for future airdrops. We will airdrop SoundX to all wallets that are sacrificed for Pulse and Pulse X. There you go. There you go. That's pretty cool. I guess that's one thing to highlight from all these different tokens that are going to exist on Pulse Chain. Most of these, if you've already sacrificed for Pulse and Pulse Chain, you will possibly receive them as an airdrop, like that SoundX one. Let's have a look at the About section here, just so you can get a little overview. Pulse Chain ranking and hot news. Why Pulse Life? Our heart beats for cryptocurrencies and blockchain tech. With Richard Hart's Pulse Chain and the ecosystem that has been created, we believe a new benchmark is being set for the crypto world. As the community behind Hex, PulseX, and Pulse Chain is by far the largest and strongest, we are proud to contribute with Pulse Life. The philosophy behind Pulse Life: high quality, giveaways, and marketing. High quality. Our focus is on the potential of the projects. We would like to present these in a structured and clear form, which they have done. I quite like the way this is laid out. Giveaways by the community, for the community. Through the earnings, we will be able to give something back to our community. This creates a win-win sitch. Marketing. Pulse Life acts as a hub for the entire Pulse Chain ecosystem. Here you will find everything important about the Pulse Chain ecosystem. What's the through earnings? Where's the earnings? Get listed. Richer Heart ecosystem. So none of the so Hex is launched. Obviously Hex is fully out there. Pulse Chain hasn't launched yet. The fastest and cheapest blockchain, largest airdrop in history, enrich ERC20 users, save money on fees. Now you could argue that, well, this is yet to be seen. Also, this is yet to be seen. Largest airdrop in history, not quite accurate considering Ethereum forked. Enrich ERC20 users, maybe. Save money on fees. Nope. It won't save money on the Ethereum chain. It'll just save money in the sense that you can choose to use the Pulse chain instead. PulseX is the token. Lowest trading fees, earn high yield designed to increase value. So you might want to have a look at that. We've already, I've already sacrificed. Well, we're going to look at Zen too, won't we? I'll tell you what, I might leave Zen for another time. I kind of want to move on and have a look at this Sam Bankman-Fried story. But before I do that, I've got to take a break. I've got to take a slash. I've got to go to the bathroom, and then I'll take a little glass of water here and I'll replenish myself. We'll come back in, and maybe I'll stop the YouTube stream at this point. I don't know if I just don't want. I don't want to get zinged by CoffeeZilla if we play his. But we can play it and critique it, surely. Let's. I'm sailing on one strike already on YouTube. He won't strike. CoffeeZilla won't strike me for critiquing his content. Surely not. We'll give it a chance anyway. Either way, I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back after a slash and a 5 minutes pausation. All right, folks, let's move on and take a little look at this additional saga in terms of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. This is from the channel CoffeeZilla. I'm sure you know the channel. I'm going to give you a little link to it just so that you can grab it if you want to take a look at yourself. I'll pop this in the chat. You can go and tell him Gives a Minute sent you. Let's take a look at this and see what further evidence has come. This guy is all kinds of wrong.
FTX tried to hide billions of dollars in fraud, and now their ex-CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, is trying to convince everyone it was an accident. He isn't such a bad guy. He just got in over his head. And already there are financial commentators like Kevin O'Leary willing to vouch for him.
I just think he's a very interesting individual. Over time, we'll peel this onion, find out what happened. I don't think that guy has an evil bone in his body.
Wow, I mean, he stole billions of dollars from investors. That ain't evil.
Now, it may not surprise you, but Kevin O'Leary is a paid spokesman for FTX.
Paid endorsement?
But even unpaid sources have parroted his claims. Take, for instance, the New York Times. They quote SBF saying he was just distracted and that's why FTX fell apart. Quote, had I been a bit more concentrated, that would have allowed me to catch on to what was going on the risk side. That's right, guys. If he only hadn't played League of Legends, he might have noticed he was stealing customer money. Now, of course, the New York Times was roasted for their uncritical take on Sam, as was Kevin O'Leary. But even respected financial journalists that I personally like Matt Levine of Bloomberg, have recently floated theories around that maybe this is fraud, but maybe not. Quote, I don't want to minimize the likelihood of intentional fraud and theft, but I want to say that the story of FTX also reads like what would happen if you and a few college friends set up a gigantic international financial exchange. Your friends are traders and engineers, not accountants and compliance officers. They're running a huge exchange and are too busy for paperwork. They move fast and break things. Now, stories like...
Is that a get out of jail? Because they didn't have the expertise, they could make as many mistakes as they did?
That, to me, leave me wondering, well, was this fraud at all? Or was it just a couple of college grads who didn't know the value of an accountant? Could be either one, right? And I want to address this, not because anyone in the media specifically believes that Sam isn't a fraudster, besides Kevin O'Leary probably, because of course there are plenty of legal reasons not to explicitly call someone a fraud. But I still think it's relevant to address these ideas and narratives either way. Because you can be certain this is going to be SBF's defense. He may have been dumb, he may have been negligent, he may have made some mistakes, but he isn't a criminal. He already came out and said it once.
He says here, the full story here is one I'm still fleshing out every detail of, but as a very high level, I fucked up twice. The first time, a poor internal labeling of bank-related accounts meant that I was substantially off on my sense of user's margin. I thought it was way lower. Whoops.
I effed up twice. But instead of mentioning fraud, he says it's because of poor internal labeling that FTX
I didn't label it correctly.
Which I
I erased my hard drive because it was the labeled incorrectly one.
Label things all the time. And in a way, that's a compelling, simple explanation. Don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity. Or in this case, don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas getting in over their heads. That is basically what...
To what?
You can attribute to stupidity. Or in this case, don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas.
What's a polycule? What's that word he used? A polycule?
In this case, don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas getting in...
What the hell's a polycule?
Don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas getting in over their heads.
I've never heard that word before, a polycule.
That is basically what he wants you to believe. And so...
Oh, I've got a massive pimple on the back of my head. Holy crap, that's painful. It's one of those red raw runs too. If I push it hard enough, it'll pop.
I'm here to answer that question. Could it possibly be that FTX is just a story of negligence? Well, the short answer is no. And the long answer is hell no. Since FTX unraveled, I've been speaking to Alameda insiders, FTX insiders, even people who called out FTX months ago, like short seller Mark Cohodes. And the one thing I'm positive of after all of it is that Sam is probably the greatest con man of our generation.
Whoa. That's a hard claim. He did say probably, though. Probably.
The only real question I have is why did it take us so long to find this out? Now, as I share the evidence that supports this claim, bear in mind, compiling a complete post-mortem on FTX is admittingly difficult. A paper shredder leaves behind better evidence than Sam Bankman Fried. Sorry, I mean Fried. Well,
Freed until he gets caught.
not freed for long. He's going to probably be in jail soon. But until that sweet day arrives, just understand that I don't have the full story yet. Nobody does. Even the people who have full access to the back-end evidence are still puzzled. In fact, the main person tasked with handling the FTX bankruptcy process also handled Enron, which is the definition of complicated corporate fraud. So you'd think it'd be no big deal, right? Nope. FTX is worse than Enron. Quote, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls.
Wow. Over how long, too? Like, how long has this been playing out?
Not only that, he says that everything he got from SBF in the way of evidence, he has, quote, no confidence in, which, isn't great. This is probably because A, Sam has lied, and B, it sounds like everything in his empire was a mess.
So everything he's given to his lawyer has zero confidence in? Shit. Pablo, FTX scam was motivated by greed and desire to fund leftist politicians and ideas. Ooh. Pabs, coming out with the definitions of the day. You're on fire today, dude.
Allegedly, FTX was approving expenses with, quote, personalized emojis, and that Sam was communicating with disappearing messages that were set to auto-delete after, quote, a short period of time. Not only that, Sam encouraged employees to do the same. So understand that we don't have a full picture of what happened yet, in part because, well, they deliberately avoided leaving one. And I would actually point to this as the first piece of evidence of fraud. You don't show up to the scene of a crime with billions missing and find out all the evidence is destroyed and say, oh darn, maybe they accidentally torched it. No, that in of itself is suspicious. And deleting your text messages.
Yeah, why would you erase messages if there wasn't something that needed to be hidden inside those messages? Yeah, that's sketch.
And encouraging your employees to do the same, that just screams that you're hiding something. But even though they didn't leave us much to go on, there's still tons of breadcrumbs that lead us to the same conclusion. For example,
wow, look at that. That's a corporate breakdown. Crikey. I mean, that's a flowchart. I don't even want to try to dissect that. There's too many people spiraling off everywhere. Someone's got to do it, though. Someone's job was to design or to come up with that.
The corporate structure of FTX and all their subsidiaries. We've talked about this. It's incredibly complicated, but I'm supposed to believe that the guy who set this up is the same guy who didn't know it was wrong for him to take from one company and steal it. Isn't this the same guy whose parents are both compliance lawyers, sticklers for the rules? You're telling me that guy doesn't understand what basic fraud is? Incidentally, this is actually why Kevin O'Leary thought this was such a safe bet.
I'm a paid spokesperson to FTX and a shareholder there too, and big advocate for Sam because he has two parents that are compliance lawyers. If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX.
Whoopsie! Shit.
Yikes. And yet, even after being defrauded, Kevin says given the chance, he'd bet on Sam again.
If SPF knocked on your door again and said, look, I failed in my last venture. I have a new crypto venture. I need money. Would you back him?
That's a great question. No one's asked me yet. I think we can all admit, you can love him or hate him given what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe. He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform that allowed us to get information on a compliant basis. So I really like what he built.
Would you back him?
The answer would be yes.
Unbelievable. I don't understand how these people can't admit they were fooled by SBF and just end up making fools of themselves. Now, there's another part of this story I want to talk about, which was, of course, the revelation that FTX, the exchange, and Alameda Research, the trading firm, were actually sharing customer funds.
Yes, I've heard this. They're both part of the same umbrella company, though, aren't they?
And there's been some talk of, well, maybe this was just a lack of compliance or accounting. But I want to suggest to you that SBF was not lacking anything. he purposely and deliberately profited from the vague relationship between Alameda and FTX.
Pabs, effective altruism is far left drivel. Effective altruism. Is this what he was known for? It's like I'm driving a shitty car, so therefore you can trust me.
And the first sign of this was when I spoke to an insider at Alameda. He told me that they would often use insider knowledge of the coins that were going to be listed on FTX.
Gotcha.
And then they would go buy those coins up, knowing that it would pump in price when it was finally listed. In other words, an easy profit could be made. This, by the way, is similar to what happened on Coinbase, and 3 people were arrested for insider trading in that case. But unlike Coinbase, this wasn't rogue employees. This was Alameda itself doing this. So let me get this straight. If it was criminal when 3 individuals did it, what does it mean when an entire organization does it?
That's business.
Asked the Alameda insider if they thought that it was criminal behavior, and they told me, quote, it was probably criminal in hindsight. Yeah, you know about the 2020 of hindsight. Sometimes you realize, wow, that was probably illegal. Now, this insider evidence is actually further validated by public reports that Alameda Research amassed swaths of tokens ahead of FTX saying it would list them, according to an analysis of public blockchain data. This is from the Wall Street Journal, and it just corroborates this insider testimony.
It's because this is the reason they're buying up these tokens, Alameda, buying up tokens that are going to be listed on FTX, is because they're the same people, right? They're the same people in different corporate structure. So they're just putting on a different hat for the day and doing a different business deal. They know it's going to work because they're running both the businesses.
There's insider trading going on at Alameda. So do you think someone, Sam, who is doing criminal activity is going to want a bunch of accountants and compliance people sniffing around? No, they're going to want criminals hanging around them. So with that said, and completely unrelated, guess who FTX chose as their chief regulatory officer? This guy, Dan Friedberg. Now, Dan's past is very important because he used to work for UltimateBet, a poker site which got in a lot of trouble and has a very shady past for reasons we've explained before.
UltimateBet got in trouble because they were giving some of their players a god mode that allowed them to see the other players' cards.
Oh my god. What? Oh, dude.
Which would obviously be an advantage if you're trying to play poker.
Wow. So Friedberg was...
What you got there, Pabs? A Facebook video? What's that for, dude?
Working for UltimateBet during these God mode days. And although he was never charged with anything, there is leaked audio coming out from him conspiring to hide the owner of UltimateBet from facing any consequences from using it. Here's Russ Hamilton, the former owner of UltimateBet.
My link explains what I was saying about FTX. Oh, okay, well, I'll take that for another time, dude. I'll get it out, though. I'll get it out. We're probably going to wrap up on this with this guy. Unless, how long is your, how long is this? Yeah, it's 12 minutes. We'll take it another time, dude. I'll take it another time. I will take it, though.
Who used God mode and admits to making money with it, telling Friedberg that he wants to get out of this cheating scandal.
I feel, and I did take this money, and I'm not trying to make it right, Dan, so we got to get that out of the way real quick, okay?
So then Dan Friedberg replies to Russ that maybe they should just blame it all on a third-party consultant and say that was who used the God mode on their website instead of Russ himself.
I think for the public, it just has to be former consultant, the company, took advantage of a server flaw by hacking in the client, been able to identify exactly when. Sometimes he played with it, sometimes he played without it. Sometimes he intentionally won, and sometimes he intentionally lost. Very erratic play. But we've been able to identify the times when the tool was up and their net wins. And that's what
And what you could also say is that the tool was originally set for a 15-minute delay.
And he hacked
it to a real time.
I think that's what we do.
So this is the guy they hired at FTX as their chief regulatory officer, a guy who once conspired to hide his cheating boss. And of course, there are more red flags about the relationship between FTX and Alameda. You might assume that, like, okay, if it was negligence, maybe everyone inside the organization was just sharing information with everyone. There was no walls in place, right? And that's what created the conflicts of interest. But that doesn't match with what we've heard. I personally have spoken to FTX insiders who said they were blindsided by the collapse. They didn't know anything. The Wall Street Journal also reports that FTX employees were completely in the dark, which corroborates that. So FTX employees had no idea what was going on at Alameda.
Can you hear my AC? Can you hear that? I just turned it right up. I wonder if you guys can hear that. Let me just see. Can you hear my AC? Can you hear that? I just turned it right up. You can't hear that. Cool. Good.
Meanwhile, the Alameda employees, on the other hand, knew exactly what was going on at FTX. They had
can't hear it. Thank you, Pabs. Cheers,
man. This relationship wasn't uncontrolled. It was one-sided. Back to the God mode analogy, it was almost as if they specifically set up their crypto exchange to be pilfered by their traders without anyone knowing. Almost like they had a back door. Oh yeah, they did end up building a back door. I forgot. Their CTO built a back door to avoid triggering red flags. See, it's hard to call things like this accidents or negligence. It's literally designed to be hidden. Alameda had a one-way window into FTX to steal whatever they wanted from client funds. And I do mean steal, not misappropriate, not negligently lose, steal. But unbelievably, the way it's quoted in like the New York Times, you'd think this was some kind of loan they took out. A margin position, it's called. But we know now it wasn't a margin position. Alameda apparently had a secret exemption from certain aspects of FTX.com's auto liquidation protocol, according to their new CEO. So this large margin position isn't a margin position at all, because they could never be liquidated. And I'm sure Dan Friedberg might be somewhere on a call trying to figure out how to blame a rogue employee on this secret exemption. But let's be honest with ourselves. Alameda knew what they were doing was criminal. That's why they call it a secret exemption. And they were even willing to lie about it to keep it a secret. Alameda CEO, Caroline Ellison, denied special access to Bloomberg News, saying, "We definitely have a Chinese wall in terms of information sharing to ensure that no one at Alameda would get customer information from FTX or any sort of special treatment from it."
Except if they went in the back door. Coming in the back door is fine, but if you want to go through the front door, you're not getting anything.
FTX. But obviously, this was a lie. Here's Sam Bankman-Fried lying too. Quote, "Alameda is a wholly separate entity." Well, we know that isn't true either. Looking back, it was obvious because even when you'd wire them money to FTX, the international wiring instructions were to Alameda Research.
Whoops. Shit. So where is this Sam Bankman-Fried guy right now? Is he in hiding, or what? How come he hasn't been pulled up?
Exactly separate. And so after finding all of this out, I spoke to Mark Cahodas, who called out SBF as a fraud much earlier than almost anyone else. And I asked him his thoughts, and he said this was all obvious.
He's in the Bahamas. Is he really?
Something was wrong a year ago, because everything this guy said, and you can play all his interviews back, nothing added up. You know, nothing added up. If people ask me a question, I will give them an answer or say, I don't know. I won't talk in a figure eight. You know, I won't answer a question with a non-answer again and again and again. Nothing this guy said has ever made a lick of sense.
The US is trying to get him extradited. I mean, is there a chance he's going to top himself before that happens?
And if he would have come to my office looking for money, I would have told him to hit the bricks, because nothing added. I mean, they didn't even figure out that his accountant's address was somewhere in the metaverse. I mean, at a minimum, you check out who the guy's auditor is and say, who's your auditor? Oh, my auditor's name is the Pep Boy, Manny, Mo, and Jack. Okay, what's his address?
I have no crystal ball, but I'm just wondering if you knew about the guy. Like, is he a suicide risk?
Somewhere in the metaverse. Is this a joke? No, I'm being serious.
Now, I know what you're thinking.
Wow.
Surely that can't be true, that the auditor of FTX was located in the metaverse. But checking their official bankruptcy filings, that is the case. And now, because no one looked into it, FTX owes $3.1 billion to its top 50 creditors alone.
Oh, shit.
And I guess if they have complaints, they
3.1 bill.
can go to the metaverse and ask about it. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. I actually don't think they probably take complaints in the metaverse. Either way, the question of was Sam Bankman-Fried a fraud is not much of a question at all. The real question is, why did so few people catch on early, and why didn't the media catch on sooner?
Because they were all being paid. They were all paid shills to spruik it.
I'm not sure. We can speculate. Maybe it was because of political donations or this whole story about effective altruism. But ultimately, what I know for sure is that people like Mark
Hey, there you go. There's your quote. Effective altruism.
Cojones, they weren't silent. He says he took it to journalists before the crash to see if they'd do anything, and they said no.
I went to Bloomberg with my pal who I was working on this thing with, and we laid it out to five ladies on the crypto team, and they passed. And they said it would be too much work. We'd lose access. It's bad for business, right? They hang up on us if we ask these questions. Well, at least I had the questions.
Wait,
I don't have a
Bloomberg
PR firm.
denied a story with you because they thought it would lose them access and it was too much work?
Yes, 100%.
When? When did this happen?
This happened in July. This happened in early July. They had
All right.
everything. They had everything.
Wow.
They also said, but I didn't want anyone fired. I didn't want anyone fired, so I didn't give them that.
Does that make Bloomberg complicit? Maybe.
They said it was bad for business, i.e. advertising.
You're kidding. So they admit their conflict of interest with advertisers in the crypto space.
Yes.
Now, this is pretty shocking
That's heavy.
allegations, so I did want to reach out to Bloomberg for comment to see if they wanted to respond to this, and here's what they said.
Wow. That's heavy, man. You know what? I am going to take that link. I'm going to take yours because that's frightening, dude. I want to see this now. It's on the it's in the forefront of us, so let's take it. Can I just make it full screen?
Who pledged to spend as much as $1 billion. Okay, so Sam Bankman-Fried, he was the digital guru who pledged to spend as much as $1 billion in support of Democratic candidates. Now he's under a federal investigation. Oh, I bet he is. So what did he do? And who are his friends?
What a lovely
Bankman-Fried, SBF is what they call him. SBF, the next
Does the space bar
Warren
not play?
Buffett
What a lovely studio setup this guy's got.
is what they also called him. Donated to President Joe Biden's campaign and other democratically aligned entities in 2020, $5.7 million. $40 million is the amount he donated to political candidates and committees during the 22 election cycle.
So donating to political candidates ensures that they're not going to look into you?
Vast majority are Democrats. $40 million. His net worth as of Election Day was $16.6 billion. His estimated net worth today, $0. Now, I just want to see if you find any kind of connection here. Free Beacon did a great story on this. So you have SBF. Then you also have Harvey Weinstein. He donated almost $600,000 to.
It's funny how they call him SBF. Like, why do we abbreviate his name? You don't say HWS, Harvey Weinstein. Why do we go SBF? Influence buying clearly works. It's highly unethical.
The Democratic candidates and committees since 2000. He had fundraisers for Hillary, for Barack Obama. Yeah, he's now in jail and on trial for even more rapes. He'll be in jail till the day he dies. Then you have Jeffrey Epstein, who donated more than $150,000 to Democratic candidates and committees, including $10,000 contribution as recently as 2018. Okay. So he was with liberal billionaires. He wrote checks to Ivy League universities. Bill Clinton was one of his good friends, and then he hung himself, in air quotes, in his jail cell in 2019. Okay. Then you have Ed Buck, longtime liberal activist, donated more than $500 million to Democratic candidates and committee. He was sentenced in April to 30 years in prison for luring young men to his home, sexually assaulting them, and at least 2 cases injecting them with a fatal dose of methamphetamine. Oh. He was described as a violent, dangerous sexual predator who exploited vulnerable victims, men who were drug dependent and often without homes, to feed an obsession that led to death and misery. That's Ed Buck. He's another one of the big campaign donors. Bernie Madoff. Oh, he was the
corruption
best.
is widespread.
$200,000
Totally
to the Democratic Party, including Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton.
But to be fair here, this gentleman's just comparing Sam Bankman-Fried with all these other people on the basis that they're donated to political parties. I get his point, but it's a bit of a stretch to say that they're all the same. Their motive is all the same, but they're not all the same people. I hope he goes somewhere with this. Also, this is a weird thing that when you pause and start this, it changes the volume as well.
He defrauded people of $65 billion, the largest Ponzi scheme in history. He died. He had a 150-year prison sentence. He died in 2021. He went to jail in 2009.
You're right. Yeah,
so
cheers.
Sam Bankman-Fried is not the first.
Right.
So what is it about these guys that attract them to the Democrats? Well, one, if you are in with the Democrats, generally speaking, you can hide out there forever. They launder your reputation. But there's something else. It's called
laundering your
effective
reputation.
Altruism. FTX, this scandal may rip the mask off the left in something that most people don't know. What we see is apathy and lust, piles of dark money, and the bizarre habits of atheist leftists. The billionaire and CEO, the so-called philanthropist, Sam Bankman-Fried, is vaguely creepy. His girlfriend is even more so. He's the perfect hero for the left. Mushy, lacking all masculinity, boring, hedonistic, and obsessed with doing good, even if it means committing crimes that result in enormous pain for many people.
Wow.
Now, most of us cannot imagine how people just commit evil so nonchalantly. You know, just like, yeah, whatever. Let alone with the smugness of someone who thinks they're morally superior. So it makes sense that this arrogance is based on the ideas of leftist intellectuals, a trendy movement that you probably haven't heard of.
He's a vegan, isn't he?
Effective altruism, which claims to be a new kind of philanthropy. The World Economic Forum has used many of its ideas. What a surprise. One of the creators of effective altruism is a philosopher. His name is William McCaskill. He's friends with Sam Bankman-Fried. They've known each other for at least a year. McCaskill actually worked for Sam Bankman-Fried. According to the New York Times, he was one of the 5 people from the charitable vehicle known as the FTX Future Fund who jointly announced their resignation on Thursday. So what is this theory? Well, you've seen it in play a lot. In his book, Doing Good Better, McCaskill lists the steps to effective altruism. In a weird twist, the book mentions a study about the crowds at Tea Party rallies and how the weather affected the crowd side. Does a larger audience make a significant political difference in the effects of the events? The study concluded, yes. Each person makes a difference, which I think I agree with, but that's about as far as I'll go with this movement. Like the World Economic Forum.
This gentleman, this guy's lacking a personal touch. I know he's dealing with a pretty heavy topic, but he's not really engaging me. In fact, the way he keeps looking over there a lot is kind of feels like he's not really delivering this spiel to me, but to somebody else, and we just happen to be there as a fly on the wall. I don't know this guy. I don't know what his content is all about, but it's, robotic. That's a good way to describe it. It's robotic delivery. Bit of a shame because it's everything else about his production looks very nice. Maybe the white balance could be adjusted a little bit. It's a little on the blue side, but other than that, it's a very schmick looking production.
Effective altruism is obsessed with climate change. They're obsessed with fair trade and green living, but that's not enough to stop climate change. They want us to eat less meat, thus we eat bugs. Like Klaus Schwab, McCaskill thinks that we need radical change to common sense. He believes people should earn to give, make as much money as possible, and then give it away to people who would need it. He argues that it's pointless to boycott sweatshops because, the workers then are going to make more money and they only end up doing worse someplace else. Instead, he says wealthy Americans should donate a chunk of their salary to people who know better. And they can.
Who is he talking to when he looks over there?
This is a religion of activism. McCaskill writes, advocacy also has the potentially high payoff, as one could influence the behavior of many thousands of people and help influence debates around particular policies. Though this is particularly difficult to quantify, one could become an effective advocate through journalism, or by pursuing an early career in academia and then moving on to become a public intellectual. We see this. That is what journalism now is.
Hey, Johnson's in the house. GBZ. His name's GBZ. How you doing, man? He's well known for speaking the truth behind the scenes and connecting the dots for decades now. I've never heard of him. Can you tell me who he's talking to when he's looking away? Is there someone else in his studio? Because this piece has now gone for 8 minutes. It's a 12-minute piece in its entirety, but no one else has spoke yet. So if he's being interviewed or if he's talking to someone, he hasn't let them have a word in 8 minutes. He's looking at the camera, but then he's also looking away at someone as if he's talking to somebody. It's throwing me off, to be honest. Glenn Beck, is that his name? GBZ.
Founded the effective altruism movement with, one of my favorites, Peter Singer. If you know anything about Peter Singer, you're running for the hills. Singer is a bioethicist. He's at Stanford, I think. He's known for his work in animal liberation. He sees animal farming and medical testing as a form of racism. His stance on abortion is pretty much murder. He believes newborns aren't people. Newborns, not fetuses, newborns. He said that killing a newborn baby up to the age of 2 is never equivalent to killing a person. That is, a being who wants to go on living.
He does his show from a remote ranch in Idaho, thanks to Starlink.
He advocates for most forms of euthanasia as long as the person consents. Disability rights activists usually protest his events because he believes that disability is a valid excuse for euthanasia. Oddly, a guy who is pretty much, doing the same thing they did in Germany, he opposes the death penalty, and he's an atheist. Yet he also blames God for evil. He's Jewish, with 3 of his grandparents dying in the Holocaust, yet he's pro-Palestinian. This guy's a piece of work. It should be no surprise that Singer is an agenda contributor to the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab mentions him several times in his book, The Great Narrative. So the Great Reset is a perfect example of doing good better, because the foundation of all these ideas is utilitarianism.
Utilitarian.
Ism. It is together we make one.
So he has got a guess
Great
there.
word, at least.
A philosophy that most sane people have rejected as just a thought experiment. It's a form of radicalism. It's an attempt to satisfy human needs without the obstacle of God-given rights. Think of that. That's the goal, to satisfy human needs without the obstacle of God-given rights. This is the trolley problem. You ever heard of the trolley problem? Trolley is coming down and it approaches.
So that took him about 9.5 minutes to let someone else say something, and it was only because he couldn't pronounce a word. Johnson, a fan once told Glenn Beck that he would have more street cred if he went by the name GBZ. I've been a fan since the early 2000s. I genuinely have never heard of this guy. Never seen him, never heard of him. That's his co-host, Stu B. Okay. Also, when you press pause and play on this Facebook, it changes the volume for some weird reason.
Which is a fork in one direction. A single person is tied to the track. The other direction, a dozen people are tied to the track. You have to choose which direction to turn the train. And in utilitarianism, you sacrifice the single person, right? Okay. And when I say sacrifice, I mean sacrifice. Murder, stealing, assault, violence of any kind can be justified by utilitarianism, as long as its outcome is mostly favorable, mostly peaceful. Utilitarianism is a secular alternative to Christianity, and it goes hand in hand with hedonism. What did I just say about Sam? He was a hedonist. It's pragmatic.
He's talking about him like he's gone. He was a hedonist.
Is collectivism and the greatest happiness principle, the greatest happiness for the largest number of people. It considers happiness and pain, more happiness, less pain. Its rule is by elites who know better than you do, and you're just really incompetent. You're sheep. You can see this leftist idea of equity, of outcome, affirmative action, inclusion at all cost, even exclusion. You can see what is happening. It is this poison. It is the gospel of a world turned upside down and inside out. It is a ministry of pudgy billionaires devoted to annihilation. That's what was truly behind FTX.
Hectic. Heavy, folks. Heavy. He's basically describing communism under a different label, and that's what FTX was persuading people as a... Wait, that's a big jump, though, like, to go to all those levels. Essentially, it was a trading platform that was stealing from its users. That's a big jump. I can't quite make that jump, but he did. I'm going to make the jump out of here, though, folks. I'm trying to think of a cool way to end this. There's no cool way on a heavy note like that. I'm going to just get out of here, and I want to thank you for being here with me, and thank you for enjoying the learn. And I guess I should address the YouTube. I see 2 viewers watching on YouTube. Can you like this live stream up? It does help the algorithm if you can like it up. Very helpful to get as many eyes on my content as possible. I get suppressed by YouTube. Having said that, my stream from this morning, my World Cup stream, it's sitting just shy of 1,000 views, which is a huge amount for me. There definitely wasn't 1,000 people in that stream when we were broadcasting it, but people that have watched it since it went live 12 hours ago, it's up to almost 1,000, which is not heard of. Am I going to become a soccer channel? No. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Will I do it again? I will. Tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning. Well, coming up next on the channel here. No. Friday we're doing the Karen's Diner IRL stream. If you're interested in Karen's Diner, it's a diner chain where they abuse you and you willingly take it on. We're going there on Friday. It's up in Sydney. If you want to join me for that, that'll be very cool. Be doing it, right now, this time, Well, yeah, I started at 5, or 4ish, but yeah, anyway, Friday. I'm going to get some sleep, folks. World Cup soccer is taking a lot of my time, and I plan on watching some more tonight. So I'll see you on the upside, on the downside, on the flip side, on the other side, whenever that is. Sometime soon. See you later. Get him out of here. Get that out of there.